The Lockhart Perspective. Looking at the recession just recently has caused a lot of confusion for a lot of people. Well, it looks as if it's causing more confusion for those who would like to control the term or the verbiage that surrounds the whole is it or is it not a recession? Are we in one or aren't we? I pulled together a few stories that I wanted us to take a look at, and I want to thank each and every one of you all for pitching in and joining in with us today. But I think that for us who've experienced a couple of recessions before in the past, we know that we're in the middle of one, right? Um, so let's just take a look at one of the stories that I thought was pretty intriguing. And I think you guys will too. We'll go through a few stories. This one here comes from Market Watch, and I found the title pretty unique. Look what it says. It will mostly be a white collar recession. Milken economist William Lee on how the next economic downturn will be different. It was written on August the 1st of this year, obviously a couple of days ago. It was first published at the end of July, though, and they edited and updated it a couple of days back. So let's look at this. And then we're also going to look at the ever changing verbiage for the recession and how it's so easy that we can, if we don't like a way a word makes us feel, or if we feel as if it'll bring some shame to us or shows us that we're guilty of something, then we can just change it. Yeah, we can just change it. So let's take a look at it. And for all of you who are wondering why I sound like Brenda Vaccaro, it's because I have a very bad sore throat and have had one for the past couple of days. So I've been taking some stuff for it. So it's not like I'm trying to sound like Brenda Vaccaro. It's just the only person I could think of that I may sound like. All right, so let's get into it. The lower skilled workers and jobs that have experienced a labor shortage will likely have an extra layer of protection if if the economy slows down. Well, I think it's already doing that, don't you? So, some cautionary advice for workers worried about an economic downturn. Quote, it will mostly be a white collar recession, and the blue collar recession will not be in the same places that we saw in the past. That was from William Lee, the chief economist at the Milken Institute, a Santa Barbara, California based think tank, in an interview with MarketWatch, speculating on the nature of America's next recession. Amid the rising expectations among economists of a recession, commonly defined as 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, Lee said there's still a demand for blue collar workers in service as well as manufacturing, which which will help protect those workers if a recession hits. Even with a low unemployment rate of 3.6%, lower income workers are always vulnerable in any economic downturn. But adding to comments he made on Bloomberg Radio earlier in the week, Lee said there may be exceptions to that rule this time around. So it says the Joe Sixpack, who used to be the first guy to be laid off, can be less concerned if he has one of these jobs that are in high demand, like the Amazon warehouse worker, the delivery guy, the guy who's working in the ghost kitchen, he says. The U.S. created robust 372,000 new jobs in June. Now, I want to interject, and this is me, not Lee. I'm going to show you some numbers that will let you understand how they're fudging the numbers. Okay. So it says the U.S. created a robust 372,000 new jobs in June, despite predictions of a broader slowdown in hiring and growing fears of a recession. Economists polled by the Wall Street Journal had forecast that 250,000 new jobs number. The job growth was particularly pronounced in manufacturing, wholesale, retail, transportation, as well as warehousing, the Labor Department data showed. Lee warned that young professionals entering the workforce will be among the first tranche of workers to let go if there's a sharp downturn in the economy. He goes on to say, quote, The entry level white collar guy is going to have to watch out. That's going to be the surprise in this downturn, he says. I don't think he should have used any filters on that picture. I don't think he needed them. They probably did more harm than good. Where's this eyebrow? Could be thyroid. Anyway, going back, ADHD, stop it. Stop it. Okay, anyway. So the tech sector, meanwhile, has announced a wave of job losses. Shopify is laying off roughly 1,000 jobs, or 10% of its workforce, and the Wall Street Journal reported this week, due to a slowdown in online shopping after the worst days of the pandemic. A spokesperson for Shopify, don't you just love the way MarketWatch puts their stock in there? It's like up to the second, right? So it says a spokesperson for Shopify referred MarketWatch to a blog post by the company's CEO and founder, Toby Lukey. And he wrote, quote, we bet that the channel mix, the share of dollars, the travel through the e-commerce rather than the physical retail would permanently leap ahead by 5 or even 10 years. But that bet added did not pay off. Last month, the Coinbase, there's their numbers, 11.64, extended a hiring freeze and rescinded some acceptance offers, citing current market conditions. Coinbase declined to comment. Meanwhile, Microsoft has slowed hiring, and the heads of Meta Platform Incorporated, formerly Facebook, and Alphabet's Google have warned employees of tough times ahead. Microsoft, Alphabet, and Meta were not immediately available for the comment. Lee said that low skilled white collar workers, such as entry level accountants, were more vulnerable as businesses upgrade their business models after weathering the worst of the pandemic. Many of these entry level roles have been replaced by apps and new technology. So they've literally teched themselves out of jobs as far as the tech people are concerned. And these are for the accountants. So the accountants can thank the tech people who are now going to be out of jobs for helping them get out of a job. Alternatively, businesses simply don't have a need for certain lower wage white collar workers anymore, Lee said. With inflation at a 4-decade high and showing little sign of slowing down, the U.S. Federal Reserve on Wednesday announced a 0.75 percentage point. Now, remember when the story was written and it was updated on the 1st, okay? The 0.75 percentage point rate hike to push its benchmark rate up to 0.25 or 2.5%. Now, that put the pace of the Fed tightening at the fastest since 1981. The Consumer Price Index, which measures how fast prices for goods and services are increasing, reached 9.1% in June compared to last year, a 41-year high. Wages have not caught up, however. In June, wage growth increased by 6.7%, according to the wage growth tracker from the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta. Due to a labor shortage in key industries, Lee noted that since mid 2021, low wage workers were receiving bigger wage increases than they got pre pandemic. Quote, as the pandemic hit, a lot of people have upgraded their skills. So waiters and warehouse workers have retrained themselves to be truck drivers and maybe accountants, and they're looking for better jobs, he says. I want to talk to you guys about this before we go on to the next story, because I personally feel like the numbers were being held back on purpose so that it would be an easy way for our current administration to basically say, hey, this is not a recession, even though we've had a couple of um, a couple of quarters that have been a little down. This is not what we consider a recession. And the reason why I feel like they had their hand in manipulating all of this stuff is because if you look at the jobs numbers, there is a jobs report that we're going to look at in a few seconds here. But those numbers tell me that they were able to manipulate them. I believe that you can know, or the data that you receive is only based on the data that they give, that they put into the machine, if that makes sense. Right? So the only machine that you're looking at is the one they've created, and the information that you're receiving is the information that they gave you based on what they put in it. So I don't believe any of the numbers. This 372,000. So basically, what they were saying is this is the reason why you can say that we don't have a recession. Look at the jobs. No. Listen, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me show you this. I'm going to show you this because I found it very telling. Very, very telling when we look at the whole piece of why and how they were able to tell us, no, it's not. It's not that because, well, we still had all these jobs growth. There were 600,000 jobs that were just allegedly, and I say allegedly because I worked in HR and I've also worked as a headhunter for so many years and I know all the tricks. They said that all of the employers had just, miraculously decided to remove 600,000 job openings. All right? Okay? I'm going to tell you guys something. I worked for a company for a gentleman who is dead right now, bless his soul, but his name was Bernie Howroyd. He owned the Howroyd Group of Companies. Bernie was an old school salesman. As a matter of fact, I learned how to sell from old men back in the 80s and back in the 90s when they were not allowing women to compete in those particular types of fields. This old cat was one of the ones. He used to teach us to create job openings to pull in applicants. Now, I had a lot of people, including myself in the very beginning, who thought, gee whiz, isn't this unfair? Well, it was unfair if you couldn't hustle because what he pushed us to do was to create the job and then pull in the applicant and then go hunt the client. Not a lot of people could do that. But what he did was very strategic. He forced us to create job openings, and whether or not it is ethical is not the topic, okay? Because I know a lot of people say, oh, that's just wrong. Okay, well, let's just get over it. Let's just get over that piece. The deal that I'm trying to share with you is we created jobs on job boards, and those jobs did not exist. So if we pulled the job, it would appear that the jobs didn't exist at that point, but they never existed. So now you're coming and you're telling us that these jobs are all of a sudden taken off the list. They're not taken off the list. Folks just pulled them because they never existed. Okay, here it is right here. And this was from the Gateway Pundit, and it came up yesterday. So let's take a glance at that. Yeah, Bernie Howroyd, he was a slick cat, but I tell you one thing, he was an old school salesman. But what he would do is he would take quality applicants after he would teach us to do that. And if you wanted to eat, you would hunt the client. You would hunt the client. And I mean, either you could close or you couldn't close. Either you would walk in closing, which most of us learned how to do. We learned how to go into clients' doors, closing, bringing them applicants, showing them who we had to hustle to get that person the job. Either you succeeded or you didn't. And if you didn't, well, you didn't last very long. But my point is, look at the story that's in the center of the screen. Biden economy. The U.S. loses over 600,000 job openings in June. But didn't it just tell us in the last story here with the Market Watch? Didn't it just tell us that there was 370? Let me go back over here on that tab. You guys stay right here. Let me go back and check because I thought it was three. Okay. The U.S. created a robust 372,000 new jobs in June. Then all of a sudden, conveniently over here, the U.S. loses over 600,000 job openings. There were never any openings. There were never any openings. Okay? Watchful and Alert says our country is just like Enron. Let me sip some of my tea on that one. That was a good one, Watchful and Alert. Everybody needs to just give him a round of applause while I sip this tea. I should see little hands all over the chat. I should see little hands clapping because he is not joking. Right? The Jesus freak, right? Hey, Gary Lee, how are you? Yes, I do know you, Christ soldier. How are you? All right. Yes, everybody that's given it. You said, oh, you said Enron, you said Akron, but you meant Enron, Betty R. Yeah, I remember Akron used to be a store back in the day in California. Okay, so let's get into this story because I like how they sort of put the story out there, but then they sort of tiptoe over any landmines that they could possibly have out there. So it says Biden economy loses over 600,000 job openings in June as employers stop filling positions. The story is written by Joe Hoft, and again, it was published yesterday. All right. So it says the Bureau of Labor Statistics released a report today showing that employers eliminated over 600,000 jobs in the month of June. Do you believe this? Now, if I click this link, as you just might, once you get the story, when you get the link, click this hyperlink because it's going to take you to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And this was their report this morning as of yesterday. All right, it goes on to say that the number of job openings decreased to 10.7 million on the last day of June. The United States Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today hires and total separations were little changed at 6.4 million and 5.9 million, respectively. Within separations, quits 4.2 and layoffs and discharges 1.3 million were little changed. Excuse me. This release includes estimates of the number and the rate of job openings, hires, and separations for the total non farm sector by industry and by establishment size class. So it's telling us a little bit about the job openings. And it says that on the last business day of June, it tells us that they had a decrease to 10.7, which is a negative 605,000 jobs and 6.6%. There's your three sixes. Do you see that? They're telling you right here, this is just a game. Okay? This is only a game. Please don't panic. We're just toying with you. So it says 6.6% respectively. The largest decrease in job numbers were in the retail trade at negative 343,000. There's the opposite number. Okay. That number that you just saw was 372. And it says wholesale trade 82,000. And in state and local government and education, negative 62,000. In June, the number rate of hires were little changed at 6.4 million and 4.2% respectively. The hires were little changed in all industries. Okay, you can click this to go to the conservative treehouse that reported on these numbers, noting that the difference between May and June was related to the loss of new jobs. The Bureau of Labor Statistics produces a monthly report of available job openings. The job opening and labor turnover summary, or the JOLTS report, shows the number of available jobs at the capture moment in time. This JOLTS report, the data is right there. Hit that hyperlink when you get it, is a summary of the last day in June. As you can see within the modified table, the number of available jobs dropped by 605,000 in this report. I want to ask you something. If a company put up any jobs, all right, I'm going to read this last paragraph so that I can ask this comfortably without feeling like I got to rush back up here. It says you can see below that the number of new jobs has decreased by over 600,000 jobs since the end of May. This is the absolutely wrong direction for the economy to be moving, it says. Without new jobs, there are fewer people working. more people on government subsidies, costing taxpayers billions, and fewer people purchasing things. Okay? All right. So here is, excuse me, the BLS report showing the decrease in jobs. You guys, they purposefully manipulated the numbers so that we would believe that we were slightly quasi okay, because they know that in order for them to make you believe it, you got to see jobs. These companies never ever had those jobs. There's just no way. There's just no way. And to cover it up, they started coming out with, well, people are now rescinding jobs. This one's now doing this and that. They did the hyperinflation with jobs. Everybody post jobs. We don't care if you got them or not. Just post them. All the companies that are in the big cahoots with us, go on ahead and post the jobs. Everybody who's in big cahoots, go ahead and post the jobs. That's what we need you to do. Post them, post them, post them. All the big companies. Because if you figure you get maybe 40 people that are like the heads of all these different companies, then it's easier for those 40 to move than it is for thousands and thousands of other people, right? So we're the thousands, we're the masses, but those individuals, okay, that are the higher ups that can manipulate the job numbers, yeah, that's who did these things. So if you look here, it says wholesale and trade, retail trade, transportation, and warehousing utilities. Okay. See? Yep. Well, I will say this. Maureen makes a good point. I see everybody chatting with her about it, and it's a good point. But don't we think that a lot of those would have been within last year and not necessarily this June? And depending upon when they're doing it. So they're going by the quarter, right? I don't even know if they're including any of those people. I don't even think they appreciate the fact that a lot of people said no. I really don't. I don't even know what they're doing. Is anybody else buffering badly? Cheyenne says she's buffering badly. Anybody else? Mhm. Yes, Robert. Yes. So this is what they're saying is going on as it relates to, you know, the report showing the decrease in jobs. Now, do you notice how the decrease in jobs sort of goes a little, I don't know, wholesale trade? All of this deals in commerce. Every bit of this is all commerce. None of it is like with the blue collar jobs. Transportation, yes, that's a blue collar. Warehouse, yeah, that's blue collars. Utility, that's blue collar as well. Depending, and wholesale trade, I guess so. I guess so, depending on which part of the sector they're considering, because each one of these have blue and white respectively. They really do. They really honestly do. All right. So whether it's retail, whether it's any of these things, yeah. But I just feel like, yeah, I think they sort of did their thing. Leisure and hospitality, arts and entertainment and recreation, accommodation and food services. Accommodation and food services. Huh. So that means getting back onto the other guy over here with the Wall Street, with the Market Watch piece, talking about the white collar recession. Plumber, anyone? HVAC man, anyone? Carpenter that does things all around the house, or contractors? Yeah. Mhm. So basically those are the folks that are going to keep their jobs or that are going to increase. This this market that we're in right now is going to scare some people in a second, especially for regular people who got in the housing purchasing market and raising everything up. I'm not talking about the Black Rocks and the other companies. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about individuals, people, folks, regular you and me's type of cats who thought, wow, let me just go out here and buy this whole building. And let me go buy this because I can. Or let me go borrow some money from over here and go buy this and do that. A lot of the things that they have put up that are fake, that are not real, are going to really, really, really flip a lot of people. Now, let's talk about the term recession. All right. Let's talk about the term recession. And let's talk about how everybody is going to eat their hat in a minute once it's just once the folks just give up and say, "Yeah, okay, maybe it was a recession. What you going to do about it?" Hey. The United States economy shrank in the last 3 months by 0.9%. This is the second consecutive quarter where the economy has contracted. In the first quarter, GDP, or gross domestic product, decreased at an annual rate of 1.6%. While 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth is often considered a recession, it's not an official definition. Why? Well, because we're NPR. And we got to be in lockstep with everything everybody else says, or we'll be the people that they will not invite back to the reindeer games. Now, a nonprofit and nonpartisan organization called the National Bureau of Economic Research determine when the United States economy is in a recession. And NBER, as we will refer to it going forward in this article, committee made up of 8 economists makes that determination, and many factors go into that calculation. Now, get this. The White House has pushed back against calling the current economy a recession. We just can't do it. Are you kidding me? Who's going to call this a recession? It just can't be. No, stop it. I don't want to say. Stop. No. It is no doubt aware of the role the economy is going to play in the midterm elections. Bingo, bango. Bingo. President Biden, who's Biden this time, President Biden, cited record job growth and foreign business investments as signs of strength in the economy. This man is absolutely delirious. He is not the president. He is a bobblehead who has somebody else. He's a puppet, and I don't know whose hand is in his trousers up through his head, making the head speak, but they need to stop it, I say. It says, quote, "That doesn't sound like a recession to me." This man was created for this. Can it be a recession if there are so many jobs being created? Now, this is Janet Yellen. You see how the stuff flip-flops? Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen noted in a recent appearance on NBC's Meet the Press that while 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth is generally considered a recession, conditions in the economy are unique. Quote, "When you're creating almost 400,000 jobs a month," she said the right word. That is not a recession, she said. She said, when you are creating. I'm going to let that sit right there while I sip this. While you are creating, I just told you what we used to do. We used to create jobs. So it looked like everybody was trying to find a job. We had all these jobs. We were just ready to hire. We were ready to get them placed with the clients because the clients were beating down our door. We need a secretary. We need a receptionist. I need an accountant. Hurry up, please. Please let me in. I don't know what to do. I need somebody. They're going to overtake us. When you're creating almost 400,000 jobs a month, that is not a recession, she said. Still, either way you cut it, the economy has weakened. The GDP report showed that businesses had retrenched, undoubtedly. Borrowing has become more expensive, with the Federal Reserve ratcheting up interest rates. So there's less money to invest. The key worry is whether that will start hurting jobs growth. Retailers had a glut of inventories to work through. Those businesses were spending less. And housing, which has been running hot during the pandemic, starting to cool with the mortgage rates rising. However, there were bright spots. Wages continue to rise, and people were treating themselves by going out to eat at restaurants and also traveling. Income overall rose. But fears of recession have grown considerably as the Fed continues to hike interest rates aggressively to fight high inflation. And the economic data that has been quite mixed. The data has been quite mixed. And then in the run up to previous downturns, for instance, the economy was shedding jobs, but the US economy has been adding jobs month after month, Yellen noted. Well, because she's a part of the issue. She's a part of the plan. She's a part of the party. She's a part of the party. So if you partying on the third floor and it's got a really, really rickety foundation, you put about, it's okay if you got 1,000 people up there dancing. If the fire marshal said that 1,000 people could be up there partying, you go ahead on add 10 more, and all of a sudden the whole entire floor bottoms out and you're all on the first floor. So it doesn't happen. So you don't have a problem until you have one. Now you got a problem. And they're saying these things as if we're to believe them when we clearly see that there is an issue. This is not an economy that's in a recession, Yellen said. A recession is broad-based weakness in the economy. And we're not seeing that now. Yellen also pointed to consumer spending, which has remained strong. And she highlighted positive data on the credit quality of Americans. The White House has taken pains to remind people that just 2 quarters of negative growth does not automatically mean the economy is in a recession. As the midterm elections approach, the White House is acutely aware of the optics of a country in a recession where Americans are struggling financially. But with the cost of so many things skyrocketing and inflation running at a multi-decade high, a lot of Americans are already taking it on the chin. A majority, or 65% of registered voters who responded to a recent Morning Consult political poll said they believe they were already in one. So basically, stop the lying, because it doesn't make a difference what you're trying to say. And your witchcraft of switching words out is not going to help either, because people can see when you're snowing them. This next question says, what are the markers of a recession? Well, the NBER says the traditional definition of a recession is a significant decline in economic activity that is spread across the economy and that lasts more than a few months. Duh, da, da, da. Employment is a part of the group's calculus, and the labor market has continued to show signs of strength. Lies, all lies. Thompson twins. Hit it. Lies, 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 yeah. Anyway. In June, the unemployment rate held steady at 3.6%, which is near its pre-pandemic low, and the economy added 372,000 jobs. Now they're talking about that June number, but we just got through seeing them take those fake jobs down. They didn't add any jobs. They added the availability of jobs. These weren't people who started working. I don't care what anybody says. And if they did start working, they were working for agencies. And I'm going to tell you something else. Just recently, people were talking about how the Walmart here in Huntsville, Alabama, was paying people $15 an hour. Come to find out that a whole entire staff of workers at a local Walmart grocery store, which sells the worst fruits and vegetables on the planet, could be eating just water and cardboard. Anyway, everybody walked out because they found out that the new people who had just started were making $15 and $16 an hour, $16 for night differential, and $15 for days. The existing workers were making between $9 and $11 an hour. Well, they got upset because when they found out that those individuals that were making more money than they were, were making more money than them, they got mad. You know what happened? Come to find out, those individuals making the $15 an hour were actually working for a temporary agency. The temporary agency was paying them the $15 an hour to work at Walmart. So they were not direct hires from Walmart's website. Let me teach you something right quick. For those of you who may already know, let me teach you something. If you are a temporary agency, okay, a staffing agency, believe it or not, the Lockhart group has an arm that does hiring. I do direct hires. Let me teach you something. When you are the agency, you have a lot that goes into hiring that employee, paying for that employee, taking care of all of the legal stuff that you would have to. Okay? This is how you do it. If I give you $15 an hour, you can bet that I'm charging that client between 45 and $47 an hour, maybe even more. Why? Well, because I'm paying you, so I got to give you your 15 out the door. Then I've also got to pay all of the other little expenditures that I need to. I have to take your SEC code into effect, into account. I have to understand when I send you over here to this Walmart, are you working in the back or are you working in the front? Because that's going to change the code right there for your workers' compensation. So now I'm going to have to make sure that I'm putting it at the correct workers' compensation code so that the insurance doesn't buckle. Okay. So now I got to take care of that. I got to take care of what you're doing. I've got to also take care of the insurance that we promised you. If you hit a certain time frame, we've got to deal with the taxes. We've got to do everything just for us to make some money. And we're not getting that whole 45 ourselves. Not at all. We give you the 15 and then we got to finagle with the rest. So I'm thinking closer to 50 something dollars. Now, in tandem with that, this company that I'm speaking of is such that they're not very ethical in a lot of ways. As you can see, a lot of people have sued them in the most recent past, and they are in the back pocket of a person that you already know. They hang out with that group of people very, very well. Okay. So that means that they could be charging them more. Whatever companies it is that's using, they could be actually showing maybe $65 an hour. Could even be more than that. You know why? Because those numbers go and show how much you're paying people for employment. How much did this company pay for employment in this particular time span? This is how much they paid for their employment part of the pie at the end of the year, at the end of the quarter. How much did employing people cost you? Doesn't matter if you hired them in the door yourself. That goes as a part of the pie, right? Sure it does. So when you look at how many of these jobs they're saying that they have, when you look at how many of the people are saying that they're employed and that they're making $15, $16 an hour, it is meant to push out the small guy. These numbers that we're seeing from companies like we just mentioned in communities are meant to push out the small guy. Case in point, you, R. Jones, own a company. Okay? You own a company and you do, let's say, okay. Let's say you sell, okay, I'm gonna make something just, you sell hair grease. You sell hair grease, but so does this big guy down the street. You sell hair grease and you sell the best hair grease, and your hair grease, you need to hire like 10 people, but you're just you. So all you can afford to pay those 10 people is $9.50 an hour so that you can keep the product at a nice price range and so that you can, you know, sell enough to make a little bit of money so that you can eat as well and to keep the whole wheels turning. So you want to hire, but you don't want to hire anybody at $7 and change an hour, even though the federal government says that you can. What you do is you give them that livable to the best of your ability, that little bitty wage. It may not be a lot, but that's what it is. And that's what's going on. Now enter the company down the street, the big guy, but he is using the arm of an employment agency, an employment company that can wrangle up everybody, that can put enough job openings on job boards to pull in as many folks as they possibly can. Well, the big guy has multiple locations, and the big guy can afford to pay $75 an hour for one job because the goal is to push you out of the party. So even though you're seeing companies say they're paying the $15 an hour, or you're not even seeing them say it, what you're seeing or hearing are the folks that's working. Yeah, they're paying me 15 an hour. Really? Are they? Who's paying the 15? Y'all do some research. Dig and see what I'm saying. All right? So that's how this works. That's how the numbers work. That is how they work. And there is no, big fantasy $15 an hour coming from the local from the local store itself. No, this is a concerted effort to push out mom, to push out pop, to make sure that your business, and look, let me tell you what they're going to do. Let me tell you, mark my words. After they push enough small businesses out of the inner city communities and out of the standard communities, what are they going to do? They're going to start to close up some of those places that were paying the $15 an hour. Listen, the company that I'm telling you about that ended up having everybody walk out, that was their existing people. Some of those folks had been with them for a couple of years. And some of those people said that they just felt like they were being used. Here's another thing. Do you know that they were hiring? And this is allegedly, because I ain't got that kind of money to try to fight these folks. Y'all give me some likes or something. I ain't got no money to fight these people. But I'm going to say allegedly, because this is what was told to me. All right. These people were working there for this amount of time. They hired them as a cashier, for example. But the cashiers don't do cashiering work. Do you know what they do? They put them on the schedule, and then as soon as they clock in, they send them to the receiving. They send them to receiving. The girl tells me everybody that comes to work goes into the back. As soon as they get in, there may be two people up here that handles all of this, the self-checkout. I said, yeah, tell me some more. She said, well, most of us are in the back. Most of us are in the back. She said, you see all the carts outside? I said, yeah. She said, nobody goes and pull those in anymore because everybody's in the back. So I said, wait a minute. So you guys were hired as cashiers? Yes. I said, and you never work as a cashier? No, because all we do is offload trucks, organize the stuff, put it up, and then we leave. And the rest happens with the night shift. So the night shift comes in, they get the $16 an hour. Okay? So it's not what we thinking. It's not what we thinking. Trust and believe me. Ask some questions very casually. Just be very normal. Don't sound like Walter Cronkite or anything like that. Just ask. They'll tell you. Something about those folks they're very transparent. A lot of them are sweethearts. A lot of them are just trying to make their way. Listen, all of us are just trying to make our way, right? Michael Gappin, the chief U.S. economist at Bank of America, says, quote, I don't think the NBER would look at the data right now and say the economy is in a recession. Really? You don't think so? Is it because you sit on that board as well? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So but it's unclear how much Americans will care about whether the current economy satisfies a specific highly technical definition or not. What is clear to everyone is the economy is slowing. Prices are rising at the fastest pace in decades. And the housing market has started cooling as feds raise the interest rates aggressively. And on Thursday, the central bank raised the rates by an additional 3/4 of a percentage point. Economists acknowledged the headline number on Thursday. How much of the economy grew or shrunk on a percentage basis is likely to attract the most attention, but they say it is important to dig into the underlying data. Quote, it is the pieces of the puzzle that matter when you're looking at GDP, says Michelle Meyer, the U.S. chief economist at the MasterCard Economics Institute. Among other things, we'll see if household spending, which accounts for 70% of all economic activity, kept pace with inflation. But the Fed Chair, Jerome Powell, and other policymakers have acknowledged at a moment like this, when there is so much uncertainty and when so many Americans are experiencing economic pain, sentiment and expectations matter, and the key for the economy is not to lose many jobs. Quote, I think a lot of it comes down to jobs, says Meyer. Whether you have a job or whether you expect to keep your job and what that might mean for your future path of income. You guys, we are about to see the highest influx of people not having jobs because of what I just described. See, that's the underlying little undercurrent. That's the underpinning, that little underbelly, that rumbling. That's the rumbling that you feel, but you can't put your finger on it. Okay? You can't put your finger on that rumbling. You don't know what that rumbling is. The rumbling is the fact that the small companies are going to be hit. And when they get hit, it's going to be like one stone being thrown at two birds. They're going to get rid of two birds with one stone by having all the large companies come into areas, hiring outside, paying the wages up. Now, let's look at this, you guys. Look at it. Look at it. Oh, bingo, bango. All of the real people got frustrated. All of the real workers who've been working there for a minute got frustrated and walked out. Now, all you got to do in the next few months is let the temporary agency go. And the majority of temporary agencies have to have their employees sign a document that says they will not go and attempt to work for the company on their own after their assignment is over, or the employee can be sued and the company can be sued. Yeah, it's a part of the contract. So if I send you someplace, I'm getting you to sign basically a non-compete. Basically, it's a non-compete. What it says is I'm going to do something ethical. And if I send you to this job, I'm going to ask you just one thing. I want you to be ethical, and I don't want you to go back to my client and try to work for them after I've already, removed the position. So after the position has been moved, I don't want you to go back over there to them. If they don't transfer your job into a, permanent position, then leave it alone. So do you see what's going to happen? All of those people are now, where are they going to work? They were making $9 and $10 an hour, and all of them just up and quit. So the lie is people don't want to work. No, they cannot compete. They cannot get the 15 an hour. They could not. Those Walmart employees, hey, Anthony Van Zant, Mary Beth and Robert M. Stahl, hey, Kia Koba Fett, they can't compete, you guys. Those people cannot compete. I hope everybody can see what I'm really trying to share. Really, seriously, we got one more story. But I really want to, that just hit my head. I said, oh, wait a minute now. If all of the real workers just left, and the real workers they're saying people don't want to work. No, those people wanted to work. They didn't want to be abused, and they did not want to come work every day hard side by side from somebody who's making $15 an hour that had not been there. You feel me? Wow, you guys, this is amazing. Whoa. So this is how they're doing it. This is how they're doing it. Get all the big guys to hire because they can afford to with a hiring agency, top dollar for standard workers. Do not allow the standard worker to work in the position that you actually hired them for. You hire them as a cashier, but you stick them in the back. Now you're frustrating your client base. So like me that day, I said to the girl, well, I'm not coming back over here anymore. I said, because I just spent $200 for groceries. I said, cash money. All right. And I feel like I was abused because I spent $200 here and nobody was here to, fix my groceries, to put them in the cart. I didn't get a discount or anything. Nothing. When do I pick up my check? It was a joke. There's nobody here. I'll go to Publix next time, I told her. Because at least if I pay a little extra at Publix, much to my chagrin, at least somebody is grinning and smiling and they're putting the stuff in the cart for me. They grinning and smiling while they take all your money. But at least you can get, 10 for 10 there. Not 10 for 10. You can get the buy one, get one, some specials. I think 10 for 10 is what I get when I go over to Kroger. But anyway, my point is more important than my jokes. The deal is This is how they're going to tear up the rest of the local economy, because now that you have everybody getting frustrated on so many different ends, people give up, customers stop coming, and then you don't have anything that you're losing, because all you do is you just stop the contract. Wow. Wow. How devious is that? Huh. Well, let's go on ahead and look at the last story here that we're going to pull together. And I just think that it's amazing. I think it's amazing. Oh, I don't think we can use this story because they have it behind a paywall, I believe. Let me double check. No, it's okay. So we'll go ahead and do this one. The swirling controversy over how to define the term recession has now hit Wikipedia. After partisans engaged in a furious editing duel of relevant pages, Wikipedia suspended most changes to the entry for recession as well as business cycle. Depending on one's politics, the decision represents either a last ditch effort to preserve the site's neutrality on caving to ideological interests. Whichever side you're on, you should be glad the fight is being fought and confident that it will soon blow over. Although Wikipedia is one of the most visited sites on the web, repeatedly they insist that its articles should never be used as a sole source of any particular fact. That sites' pages are increasingly treated as authoritative in the news articles and scholarly papers alike. I find it, I'll tell you what I think later. Let's get to this. Okay, the good news is that we've been down this road before. The story continues. Lots of times, locking Wikipedia pages to prevent partisan edits is nothing new. Joe Biden's entry is partly locked after repeated episodes of what the site calls vandalism. So is Hillary Clinton's. So is Donald Trump's page, which foes kept deleting in its entirety. And nobody will be surprised to learn that the page designated 2021 United States Capitol attack is also partly locked. Fierce argument rages even over what the page should be called. Wikipedia's senior editors have also taken action when battles have erupted over issues other than electoral politics. And in 2017, they locked Garfield's page, the cat, not the president, after a dispute over the cartoon character's gender exploded into a 60-hour editing war. During Dave Gettleman's tenure as the general manager of New York's Giants, edits to his page were suspended after vandalism of angry fans, one of whom altered Gettleman's job description to read ruining the team. Oh, they are wicked. And let's not leave out the infamous episode where Wikipedia locked the entry on the Whopper sandwich sold by Burger King after someone altered the list of ingredients to read. Well, let's not get into that, it says. But if angry disputes and temporary suspensions of editing are so common, then why don't we remember them? Well, because they always settle down, the article reads. We know this because social scientists, fascinated by Wikipedia's belief that we can successfully crowdsource even the most abstruse or the technical knowledge, have spent years studying how the site is edited. For example, researchers have long understood that Wikipedia edits tend to increase sharply in response to intense politicization of a current issue, as well as in response to other major social disruptions such as the outbreak of a disease. But no matter how large the initial flurry of Wikipedia alterations, when an event that grabs the public's interest over time, the editing pattern regresses to the mean. On the other hand, although editing bots on Wikipedia engage in sustained and often destructive warfare, their influence may be waning. I don't even want to get into this. I want to go back up here because you just shoved the main topic into all of that writing. The swirling controversy over how to define the term recession has now hit Wikipedia, because They flip-flopped it. They changed it. They moved it around. They figured out how to add something that wasn't and make you believe that it isn't. So somebody out there that just had their 18th birthday, that doesn't even really get it, but wants to feel like they're being responsible when it comes to voting, will go on ahead and vote for these cats again. Or people like the folks that I talked to yesterday at the park. Yikes. Whoo, boy. Whoo. I'll tell you about them. They're total MSNBC followers, total CNN believers, total Fox watchers. These people believed everything that was said from the guy that's in there now. Oh, we'll get into that in a second. Yeah, we're going to get into it because I couldn't believe it. I asked them what of Mr. Naranga, and all they could tell me was that he was a racist. And I said, oh my God, what did he say, y'all? What did he say? They couldn't tell me nothing. It was amazing. Should have seen it. I should have recorded it, but I think I would have got ghetto slapped. Yeah, because a lot of them women that was in that bunch, yeah, they could take me. So basically, you have the ability to sway words in such a way that people will believe that this is not a recession because you say so and because Wikipedia says so. Who follows Wikipedia like that? Anybody who's ever done any real research may glance at it, but you definitely know that you do not rest your laurels on any information that you glean from Wikipedia. I've had people that share with me and they use Wikipedia sometimes as a source and they'll be like, I know my brother's like, okay, I know you don't like Wikipedia that much, but we're just going to use this piece. I'm like, okay, but I don't like Wikipedia, and he knows that. I don't like Wikipedia for that very reason, that it is editable, that you can edit it. Okay? I started my own Wikipedia. Ain't no telling who's added something to it, because I don't even know how to get to it no more. I guess I'd have to just go to the website and just maybe log in or something. I guess, maybe. I don't know. But the point is, somebody could add anything they wanted there, and you wouldn't even know who it was. The point that we're making right now is the Biden administration went so far as to go to the PolitiFact, and they had the fact checker stand up for them in their stead. And here's what they said. No, the White House is not trying to protect Joe Biden by changing the definition of the word recession. Who owns PolitiFact? Then soon as you pull up who owns them, they'll say, no, we're not owned by him. We're not. We're not. Ahead of a key economic data announcement on July 28th, critics of Joe Biden have taken to social media to lay the groundwork for declaring the economy in recession and laying the blame on the president. See, their writing tells you who they're for or not for. I don't care who you are. I'm going to get you. Whether you're the right or on the left, I do not care. I'm going to get you. I'm going to talk about you either way it goes. If you're doing something that's unethical, that's wrong, that looks suspect to me today, I'm talking. But not this. This ought to show us all, except for the people who really want their minds to be massaged so that they can prove that they are quote unquote right in a debate. They'll use PolitiFact as well as Wikipedia to prove their points. Two unsubstantiated portions of this world that have nothing to do with any pragmatic approach to research. PolitiFact. So because they say it, does that make it so? This right here paragraph should show us exactly who's running that party. All right? Who giving up the red Solo cups? Who pouring the Kool-Aid? Who pouring the punch in the red Solo cups at the party? At the party. Ahead of a key economic data announcement on July 28th, critics of President Joe Biden have taken to social media to lay the groundwork for declaring the economy in a recession. It's in a recession. And what's going to happen next is you're going to see a whole bunch of people evicted. Regular folks are going to be evicted. I'm telling you right now, the eviction rate is going to soar. You're going to have a whole lot of people in America not able to pay their rent because of the predatory way in which these companies utilized the CDC's alleged authority. And I say alleged authority because they made themselves an arm of the government and not an agency that worked for it. And the government went ahead with it and started using the fact that they didn't want anybody to pay their rent. And all that did was made those poor homeowners depressed. People who were just getting up, going to work and thought, let me just buy me a couple of pieces of property so I have something to make a little extra money, something to pass on down to my children's children. And all they did was frustrated those folks waiting for a check to come to help their tenants that probably were not paying their rent from Jump Street. I lost my job during the recession, during the pandemic, the very first month. The first people they started to cut down and to chop up was high people. Okay, Director of Human Resources, we don't need you. You've taught our people enough. They can all do this job without you, which is anything. Anytime I set foot in a building, I want to make sure that I leave people behind me that are better than me. So that didn't bug me because I knew that y'all had me. But my point is, they knew that this type of stuff was going to happen. So we still paid our rent. The rent still got paid, no matter what, because y'all is good. The bills still got paid. We had to push, but we paid. Okay? But there was a lot of people who had problems prior to the pandemic paying their bills. Those individuals ended up just loafing, some of them. Not all, but some. It's the some that I'm talking about. Those were the some that frustrated the homeowners that had to then sell under duress because they got no relief in sight. Nobody gave them any relief from their banks that they had to pay the notes to on the property that was now just sitting with people living in it with no way of getting any money. Now what do you have? Well, now you have places in Alabama. Now you got places in Mississippi that were normally $500 a month, $600 a month. This is the South, okay? That have skyrocketed to $1,250, $1,300. People were paying $1,100. Now their rent at the end of this lease is going to go up to $2,600. People are moving, but where are you going to go? You got to make at least 2 or 3 times the rent. If your job is still paying you that $9 and the world is believing that the Walmarts are getting the 15 because they're using an agency, where are you, $9 an hour, $10 an hour person who was paying $500 a month? Who cares if anybody has an offense to the fact that there are people who pay that? Get over that. Get over that. The person makes $9.25 or $10 or $11 an hour, and maybe they do a little hair on the side. Maybe they cut somebody's hair. Maybe they put a little weave in somebody's hair on the side to make the ends meet. They ain't asking me for the money. They ain't asking you. So let's follow the scenario and don't trip in the soup. These individuals are not going to be able to make it, and they will stand out of our hair by trying to keep the 2 ends to meeting. They wanted the 2 ends to meet by doing their gigs, by working, by keeping their head tucked low and going in here doing what they needed to do. But they was paying $500 and something a month for a place that was worth that, if not less. Now you're going to take that same exact place, that same exact person that you approved for that same exact house or apartment, and you're going to tell them now that they need to come up with $1,700 a month for rent. Where are they going? Y'all keep an eye on what I'm telling you. You're going to see a major amount of homelessness in America because the goal is to turn this into a third world whole country. Trust me when I tell you this, because when this whole thing started, I called it back then. Everybody, no, I don't think that's going to happen. They ain't going to let that happen. Yeah, this is going to happen. So let me tell you what's going to happen after that. Let me tell you what's going to happen. After they get you guys, make sure you come back with me. I'm playing with my notes for tonight. The Nancy Pelosi visiting Taiwan in defiance of China. Who the heck are they? Make sure you visit us tonight. Let me tell you what's going to happen. You are going to find that there are going to be large, large amounts of people being pushed into areas that have more apartments. Those apartments are going to be the places. I'm going to use Atlanta. A bevy of, let me see when the smart city, there's a smart city event, and I believe it may have already happened. It's like what do they call that? Symposium. Expo. There you go. There you go. All right. Let me see. There's one in Atlanta. Oh, they're traveling. All right, they're traveling. I want to show the one in Atlanta. There's one that was, well, they probably already had the one in Atlanta. Let me tell you guys what they're doing. Almost everywhere there are black mayors, they're having smart city meetings, smart city summits. And these smart city summits are what they are doing to put the communities together as a smart city. They're doing it really low, really up under the wire. Let me show you this one. Is this it? Let me show you this one. It'll let me. No, won't let me. Well, screw you. You don't want me to show what you're up to. I don't care. All right, here we go. Let me just show you this page since it won't allow me to give you everything. So those smart cities are now being created. They've already been underway, but the majority of them are with black mayors. So you had Atlanta, you had a couple of other areas, and excuse me, what they started doing is putting these all together. So whether you can see it or not, this is the Smart City Expo USA. All right. This is the Smart City Expo Miami, Smart Cities Connect. And I think it was Smart Cities Connect. There it is, Atlanta. Come on, come through, come through. Can you see that? All right. So do you see that? This is the Smart City Expo in Atlanta. September 11th through 13th was 2019. So that was the year before all of this stuff happened. That's this one right here. This one is the one that's coming up in Miami Beach, the Miami Beach Convention Center. All right. Then you've got the next one in November. But do you see? I wish that I could show you the mayors. What is this? Organized. Who is it organized by? Fiara? Who's Fiara? Who's Fiera Barcelona International? Who is that? What is that? Huh. Let's look. FIRA Barcelona. This is who it's organized by. Organized by Smart City World Congress and organized by Fiera Barcelona. Hosted by Resurgence of Atlanta, Georgia, American Mayors Association, and the National League of Cities. Huh. I want to look up the Fiera company. All right. About making sure you can still see it. Yep, you can. This is important. I know a lot of people may not want to see this and may not want to hear this and may be like, oh, God, she's on a tangent. But I'm telling you something. I'm telling you from what I felt in my knower and inside of my gut. They're about to push everybody towards this. They are going to show how there are great places that's in the city that they started building. China's already ahead of the game because they got a whole bunch of cities that ain't got no bodies. They already ahead of the game. They got a whole bunch of buildings that ain't got no bodies yet. They will. Where they going? We gonna run out of space here where we ain't got enough cities? Where other countries are gonna start to ship people out? Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But they all want one world. So if you do immigration or immigration, whether it's the E or the I, moving you from one city to the next, as they do after they have a nice big tornado that they put up with DARPA or HARP, move you within the country or move you within your state, or whether they move you from one place to another country. They're all supposed to be one. I guarantee you, whether it's this year, next year, 10 years, 5 years, believe me, people are going to be moving from one country to the next because there's space here. We've run out of space there. We're not making any new buildings. We're not doing any of the, you're not going to be able to have any gas. You need to go to China. Well, they've got space for you there. Well, look over here in India. They've got space for you there. You can't talk about their ethnicity either because we've got laws about that. But you can go all the way over here to Pakistan and they've got space. They've got space. They've got space over here in another part of North America. Let's go up top. Go on up top to Canada. Their arcane and barbaric rules and regulations. Go. But the Smart Cities Expo Atlanta was showing you how everything from the light that cuts on to keep your street brightly lit at night has a camera. And notice the panes of purple. There's 1 pane of purple, 2, 3 panes of purple, 4, there's a dot. There's 5, there's 6, 7, 8 panes of purple, 9, 10. 10 that I can see. All the purple. All the purple. Notice that. This is Atlanta. So in Atlanta, they have actual communities now where they have put up purple everywhere, purple lights, everything all crazy. But they also have apartments now that have cameras to protect you in the parking structure, at your front door, in the front of the building where the bellhop used to be in front of old hotels. Where that is, there's no bellhop now. There's just a camera. All right. And not only that, for your safety, they also have audio in some areas, but they let you know about it so they can audio you. All right. Yeah. Through year-long thought leadership. All right. A carefully curated advisory council and high-profile B2B events, Smart City Expo Atlanta is helping to shape a shared future of safety, prosperity, equity, and opportunity for all. You know who that's geared toward with those black mayors? The black folk, because these T's are the way they like to love it. Oh, they're going to help us with some safety, man, and give us a little bit of prosperity. You know, we need equity. We got to have an opportunity for all. That's how they think we think. But we waking up. That don't work no more. Our global community is driving the equitable and resilient transformation of cities through public-private partnerships and innovative financing models. So there's that. There's that. That's how I think they're going to jack everybody up. Okay? That's how I think they're going to jack everybody and they mama up. Yep. Because everything has been placed in going into that direction. Everything is going in that direction. And see, they lied and said, they're telling everybody nobody wants to work because, look, if you just heard the story that I said where everybody just walked out, you would think that everybody was walking out going someplace else. Well, they didn't walk out and go to that employment agency and come right back into the Walmart back door. They weren't going to do that. They weren't going to do that because those people didn't do that. I had one of my clients tell me recently that his small company could not compete with the Walmart. And that's when I heard these people tell me that, that's when I said, oh, wow, this is what he was talking about. Because he said he could not compete with the $16 an hour they were paying for nighttime. And that he had a whole group of girls quit and go over there from the company that he owns. So he's calling and asking for ideas and ways to restock or to re-get his folks. Well, ain't nobody going to come over there now. Nobody's coming. You're going to have to get family or somebody else to come and help you. You see? You see? That was a different part of Alabama. Mm-hmm. All right. Let me go ahead and say hey to y'all before we leave. And for those who don't want to hang around for that, I know and I understand sometimes we'll lose numbers. If you can hold on for me so that I can keep those numbers as it goes through the algorithm, I would appreciate you for doing that for me. Um, it really does mean a lot. It does. It does. It does. It does. Trust me and believe me. It does. Uh, and then if also you guys don't mind, please hit the like button. It's important. Please hit the like button and share it if you have the ability to share it. I know that I would definitely appreciate it if you did that for me. We're going to say hello to a few folks because we should. It's just the right thing to do. All right. Oh, please make sure that you guys are still subscribed to the channel. I've had a lot of people say that for whatever reason, they were not. Okay. And that they didn't understand why. And that they don't understand how they have not gotten any alerts in about 8 months until they just sort of popped up and found out, oh, wow, you're here. You're here. Okay. All right. So let me in here for you guys. Oh, hey, little boy. Good morning. You're a sleepyhead, aren't you? All right. So took care of that. All right. So let's just love and hug on some folks right quick here. I don't see why we shouldn't say hey. It's just a neighborly thing to do. And I am Southern. So let's go. Let's just get down with it. Okay. Thank you. Each one of you guys have hit the like button, and I so appreciate that. Good morning to you as well. Okay, Robert cannot petition. I'm on the side with you guys. I'm on this side right now. All right. Jesus Freak says good morning from the Centennial State FEMA Region 8. Chris gives you a rebounding from narcissistic abuse says, yep. Jules, that along with Putin and climate change. Oh, Lord of mercy. You are not joking. Aren't you tired of this? Aren't you tired of the lies? Aren't you tired of it? It's like they think that we're just crazy, that we'll just believe anything. Yeah, they do. Vine Dressers Branch 2, hello. Sandy Air and my sister, greetings to you. High voltage, top of the morning. I paid $12 for a chicken yesterday. Wow. 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 Oh, what about the area there that they won't even allow to sell their own fruits and vegetables to their community? They have to go on Twitter and see that. And then maybe we ought to look at it later today. But I know for sure we're dealing with Nancy Pelosi, dealing with the whole issue with China. James Richter says, hello. Hello to you. Maureen Nelson, good morning, everyone. Gargle with tequila, it works. Which one should I go get, high voltage? I bet it's the least expensive one that works, right? It's probably not Patron or anything like that. It's probably the least expensive one, I bet you. Okay. Broke Stacker says $12. I hope I do too. I'm sure I will. I started taking some of Dr. B's stuff, and I think it caused a cleansing crisis, which is not a problem. It just means that I have had to increase my water intake because that stuff is so good. I do feel better. That's the weird thing. I do have this as a symptom, but I feel good. That's weird, right? But I think that that's because this is a cleansing crisis, that it's pushing and purging some stuff out of me. But he's got some new things. I got a new bottle of the vitamin C from him, that vitamin C, the dropper. Oh man, It had a special on that. You get 3 of those bottles. You get 2 of the bottle of the vitamin C and then 1 for like the skin if you have like a bite or something. But anyway, I got that, and then I got his new iron essential. Started taking that, and I feel better. It's just that is the one thing that's coming. But I did start drinking more water and drinking a lot more tea. JC says this isn't a debate. We are in a recession. Very good, JC. Agreed. Rebounding, like somebody said. High Voltage says it was an organic chicken from Publix. It literally doubled real quick. I'm sorry you experienced that. Hopefully it was a good chicken though. Did you eat it already? Did you cook it? You know what? I was able to find Purdue actually started putting 2 whole chickens in a bag. That means something. That means something. And I think I paid about $9 or $10 for both chickens in the bag. So now if you have to put a silver coin in the water, if you have a dog, put the silver coin in the water. It's a game changer in their health. Thank you for that. Betty R. I've been liking some of the stuff that you put on Instagram. You are too much. You're just too much. Watchful alert. We already hugged one another's neck. Yes, we did. Jesus freak. And here we go. Yahuwah. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Gary Lee. Hey. Fletcher Dad Cadler. Calder. Is that what that is? Hi. How you doing? Good to see you. All right. My brother Anthony Van Zandt, Amazon's balance sheet shows a reduction of 100,000 employees in the past 11 months, whilst blocking out of 11-foot storage facility contracts. How did they know how to do that? And what are they preparing for? Well, boy, you never know. You never know what's really going on. All right. Seems obvious, Robert Stahl. Robert M. Stahl said Cheyenne said had to reboot. Good, so it stopped. Okay, good. Gary Lee says crystal clear. Mary Beth says not anymore. All right, well, I think got every. Oh, my buddy. What's going on there, Alan Davis? How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see ya. Okay. Okay, slurp it up, baby. What is that about? 20 juries would work over a long time. No nosy prosecution. Doris Smith, how are you? It's good to see you. Hey, Roberta Herbert, how's it going there? When you're experiencing food shortages, an economy that makes it impossible to live, call it what you want. It needs to be fixed. I think that is a statement that needs to just sit there. I wish it could, but that needs to sit there. David Bruce, how are you today? It's good to see you, my brother. And Alan says, yeah, we're in a depression. Wow. Boy. Robert and tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies. Yep. Old head, how are you? I don't know. Here in Bend, or nearly every business in town has a help wanted sign up. The problem here seems to be housing. Really? Huh. Sorry to hear that. Because that is, but I think that that's going on everywhere. That this whole fake, where did they come up with this? Yeah, let's charge everybody. Let's charge them all over the amount of money. Okay? All right? Let's just charge them more money. Ain't nobody who's gonna pay $2,600 a month if they were paying for a place for $1,100, maybe a 4-bedroom or 3-bedroom in the South for the past couple of years, and they've been paying, and of course they maybe have had some money going up every month or every year as to how much more they're going to pay. How are you going to take that person on the same pay that they have, which they don't even qualify for? Now legally you can ask them to leave because they don't even qualify for the place anymore. Because they had to make 3 times the rent in some states, 2 times the rent in some states a month. Nobody's talking about it. All the hotels that are the extended stays now have people living in them like it's a house, and literally have buses that pick up the kids outside of the hotel. How can you live like that? How can you have your kids living in that environment? Yes, Cheyenne, the garbage chemical processed food abounds, while fresh non-GMO, non-Monsanto fresh fruits and vegetables lack. And they taste terrible. They taste like cardboard with water. I often say I would love to go, oh, Mary Beth, I love the little puppy poodle on there. I love your thumbnail for your little puppy. I often say that, if we could go to a foreign country and taste the real fruits and vegetables, like in the Bahamas or something like that, just the real fruits and vegetables. Boy, those people have it made. You know why I say they do? Because they don't have nearly the stress that we do here in the United States. And some of them, I wonder, here's what I really want to know, even while I'm stroking them. I want to know how the people have fared after DARPA or HARP or whatever, which one it was, that set that hurricane on top of them a couple of years. Remember, it was moving very slow, and it just sat on top of them and cleaned up everything. I wonder how those people are now. Do you notice how we'll see major catastrophes like that, and then after the news cycle stops, we don't hear anything about them again? Where did they go? Was there some type of fairy dust wand that came through and fixed it? Seems like they keep adjusting the matrix, Alan Davis says. Their metrics. You're right. Kikoba Fett. It's a nice name. Nice name. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's all. I think I've seen Christy. Okay, hello. Who else have I not said hello to? Jules, my jewel. If you're still here, hello. I hope you're still here. Bev, Pure Semantics. I hope you're still here. You're probably gone too. Aw. Hello, love. The definition of recession, gender, and vaccination have all changed. That's absolutely. Wow. And you stand there having an argument with somebody for about 15 minutes over a word. And I was like, yeah, but you need to say the word you mean. You need to say the word you mean. Yeah, but you need to say what you mean. I meant what I just said. You're the one that changed the meaning of the word and then welcomed those who changed it after. You know what, Alan? I don't know how to be any different. And to be honest with you, the only person who really knows, me intimately or closely is Sandy Aaron. We've spent time together. So Sandy, if she's still here, will definitely tell you that I'm a whole lot more blunt in person, baby. Tell us what you really think. Oh, okay, hold on. I'll let you know. Okay? When I was in college, if we used Wikipedia in our papers, we would get, that's right, as you should. As you should. All right, it looks like I've said hey to everybody. Joy Trujillo, how you doing, sis? I hope you're still here. If not, and you see that I'm speaking to you in the replay, hello. Hello. Chris Vaught, hello. Okay, Josh Yaz RL. Like that name. Pillow 4, hey. All right, I think that's it. I don't see anybody else. Oh, Disciple of the Messiah, how are you doing today? DNA Form, how are you? David, I just said hey. Chris Kroll, hey. That's it. Let's see. I think we got everybody. Let me go down to the bottom and see if there's anybody that's jumped in that I missed. Okay. Jules, so sad. Joe Biden is sending $1 billion to Florida for climate change. You guys remember what I told you about Florida a few months ago when I read that story that showed that they had the largest D-Wave. I think it was either a D-Wave. No, not the quantum. It's a quantum computer. And the largest one. I think it's worth me pulling that up for you guys so that you have it. All right? It's worth it. I'm going to pull this story up for you guys. My channel, my videos. Let me show you this. And I want you guys to check it out. All right. All right. Videos right there. All right, so here it is as I scroll and scroll and scroll. It's the one that we did on that giant, it's like a whole room. It's like a whole floor. There it is. The replacements is what I called it. Let me let you guys kick it with this. Is this the one? Yeah. Please listen to this, you guys. I'm going to play this for you right quick. Let me turn off this canned music. And it'll probably, probably answer a couple of things as to why I feel this came out when I was already telling everybody that I feel something unique about Florida, that I wouldn't do. I wouldn't just run out there and move. And everybody's like, yeah, I want to move there. And yeah, I think he's a great guy. And yeah, something about him. Remember, I kept saying that? All right, check this out. Please check this out. The University of Florida recently turned on the 8th most powerful supercomputer in higher education and the 22nd most powerful supercomputer in the world. And it also added 100 new AI focused faculty to the already several hundred who are engaged in AI. Why? It's a complete transformation of higher education, built on artificial intelligence as a core competency. Quote, we're doing AI in medicine, AI in drugs, AI in agriculture, AI in business. This comes from Dr. Joseph Glover, Provost and Senior VP of Academic Affairs. He continues, the College of Business just made AI a required introductory course for their entering freshmen. We believe that this is going to be a transformational initiative for the University of Florida. We think that this is where higher education is going to inevitably go, close quote. The machine is a room-scaled computer that chews through 1.1 megawatts at full capacity and is called the HyperGator AI. It's built with 291,024 cores using 148 NVIDIA DGX systems and 1,120 NVIDIA A100 processors, which are optimized for AI operations. When running, it chews through calculations at 17,200 teraflops per second, peaking at 21,314.7 teraflops per second. For comparison, a PlayStation can hit 1.84 teraflops, and the Xbox Series X can do 12 teraflops. And in supercomputing, speed matters. The University of Florida has already used HyperGator AI to analyze about 1 billion words of medical records from the past decade in its hospital system. The goal? Find hidden patterns and medically valuable insights. Preliminary results are promising, says Glover, but the plan is intentionally cross-circular and its focus on key challenges facing the United States in general and Florida specifically. Quote, in the field of medicine, we're looking at better medical outcomes. We're looking to bend the cost curve of medicine, close quote. Glover continues, in agriculture, the Southeast is going to end up as the nation's food basket, and so we're investigating that. Climate change is a challenge for the state of Florida in terms of sea level rise and the changing environment, so we're trying to get a handle on that. All of these things involve huge amounts of data, and this is where the HyperGator AI really excels. Adding 100 AI focused faculty to hundreds of other AI using professors in an organization that graduates 10,000 students annually is a deliberate attempt to infuse artificial intelligence in everything. Glover says that even if half of those 10,000 students with AI competencies, that'll make a huge difference to the economy of Florida and the nation as a whole. The initial focus? Big picture hard problem issues like national security, food security, climate change, bringing medical costs down, and global competitiveness, especially with China, which now has more supercomputers than any other country. Creating a 21st century AI enabled workforce. That's one of the reasons NVIDIA helped the University of Florida build the supercomputer. NVIDIA, of course, builds and sells tools for AI, and an AI enabled workforce is one that needs more AI tools. For Headlines with a Voice, in memory of Nancy Morganhart, this is Felicia Lockhart. All right, the part that I wanted to bring light to was the area where it was saying that the state of Florida was going to be the future food basket. Did you hear that? The future food basket. This was part of the reason as to why they elected to use that university and to put that computer, that super AI computer there. Huh, you see that? Hey, Mary H. Medina. I know. It's a good thing I didn't put an A there. Robert. Robert. So we had to change it, you guys, to make sure that it was subscribers only because of the bot that I had to kick out, and I just went over and changed it. But no, that's why I said I'm not so into the whole Florida thing, because now you guys just mentioned the fact about the money going there for climate change, and we just talked about that in this video that was months ago. This video was months ago. Okay? Yeah. Mhm. It was months ago. So, I don't know. I don't know. They could. I don't know, you guys. Yes, I saw that Florida was doing this. Something I don't trust. There you go, Cheyenne. Something I'm like, I'm side eyeing it because this guy, he doesn't even. I ain't gonna get on this man right now, but I will just tell you that keep your eye out. Keep your eye out. And let me ask you guys a question. Well, two questions. The first question is, do you think that we should still do the live tonight? I got another live that I got to do on the Lockhart perspective, but I could table both of those until tomorrow. Maybe I could break them up. The only problem with it is that the part with Nancy Pelosi, some of these are time sensitive, and I don't know whether I want to do that and hold off on it, but I feel like I really need to go lay down. Um, Alan Davis, that's a very good question. Okay. Where'd he come from? Jesus freak. Okay. Hey, Charlie, how are you? It's good to see you, brother. Yeah. There's something about him. There's something about him. I don't know. So, anyway, you guys, I'm trying to figure out, should I wait and do the other two that I have scheduled and push them to tomorrow and maybe the next morning? Or should I just go and do them all today? I don't know. Maybe I'll see. I'll see how I feel. And if not, you guys will see me push the dates and change the dates if I'm not feeling too good. But here's the skinny, you guys. Let's look into this. Let's before we leave, I just want to ask this question. Do you think they're going to push Gavin Newsom to run for the presidency? Do you think so? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Softball for Fauci awaits. Oh boy. Yes. Do the live or just wait. Okay. Hey, Rick. What's going on? That would be such a nightmare. It's good to see you. Missed you. Yeah, that would be such a nightmare. Maybe Santos. Santos. They're looking for a Jared Polis of Colorado. They're looking at Jared of Colorado. Really? But don't you think that would be a nightmare? I think that would be an absolute nightmare. My brother was cracking me up. He was like, "What if they do it? Oh my God, that would be terrible." And I'm like, "Well, he's already your president. Anybody that lives in California, he's equivalent to your president." Oh, Jesus freak, you are wrong for that. You ain't gonna get me in that. Oh no, I ain't messing with you. You ain't gonna get me, Joan Rivers. So, I think that, anybody under Klaus Schwab could be running. We already know that the whole DiCaprio and the Bidens, they were all seated with him at one of the deals. Then there's a video that just came out that I saw over on Grease Monkey, Brian's channel. I love Brian. Um, he had a video that I had never seen with Mr. Naranga walking out of a World Economic Forum meeting with Schwab to his right. But what I wanted to say when I saw that was, look at the gulps that he took right before he speaks. If you guys go over there, it's on I wonder if he would zap me if I showed his video. He probably would, so I'm not going to do it. Let me just send you over to his channel. Please go to his channel because he just put a video up a couple of days ago. Let me see if I can find Grease Monkey. Let's see, Grease Monkey video on YouTube. There he is. There his channel is. And this is the one that he did right here. Where is it? Or did he put it on? Oh, I think he uploaded it to another platform. No, it's this one. Man, I wish I could contact him and ask him if I can show you guys this. But I want you to go over his channel, you guys, and watch this video right here. Because this video had something in it and it just startled me. Oh, Paul Pelosi pleads not guilty to DUI charges as well. I wanted to let you know that. That just came out. Okay, here it is right here. This is the video you guys are going to go look at. And it's called How Have Things Gotten This Far Out of Hand? Please do me a favor and let him know that I sent you. Please let him know Felicia from Headlines with a Voice sent you, because he is really a kind guy. And he supported my channel financially. One day he just popped into my live and he literally supported the channel. So this is his channel, Grease Monkey Videos, but he has another channel as well. All right. I like him. I'm not gonna like this video, but I like him. I think I liked it on the Lockhart Perspective side. So this right here is him. But the video that he showed, which was startling to me, was right there. It starts at 3:03. Right there. Starts at 3:03. You guys go watch this, please, and tell me what you think about his face. He's walking with him. I don't know when it was. I don't know when this was, when he was with him. Klaus has done a fantastic job. He has highlighted there. Yeah, but I want you guys to see that, because that is very telling as to if this guy was compromised or not. Yeah, you saw that, Joy? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. You should, Cheyenne, with that name. That's right. Mm-hmm. I just wish that you have Jules. So you saw this one too, right? Yeah. Well, check this video out. Let me see if I can fast forward just a touch, just a smidge, to the part that I'm talking about. Right about here. Look at that. Look at the exaggerated hair. I know his hair is exaggerated, but there's something about this. It's just something about it. It looks like you can put an R right there and drop the E, because that's what it looks like to me. It says not only does he dismiss valid concerns about them as a hoax, but he says that Klaus is doing a fantastic job. But trust the plan, guys. Time to wake up. He has hashtag 2-party illusion and Great Reset. Please go to his channel, support it. If you are not already a subscriber, please subscribe. He really does the hard work. He just puts himself out there. He tells it how it is. He tells you how it is, and he doesn't have any fear. And it is so amazing to find people that are like that, that have no fear. He ain't got none, no fear. All right. Yep. None whatsoever. So please go and check him out. All right. But you guys got to check that video out. Let me give you guys the link and put it right down here so that you guys can go. Can go to it. I know, there's a lot of people that say a lot of things about a lot of folks. And I don't understand that, because if people are putting out truth, to me, I think people should just hush when they start to talk about certain folks, like, oh, this person is this and this person is that. Okay. We're all trying to get truth out there. We're all trying to get information out there. And if people don't want to, to watch, then just don't watch. But the guy really is doing something good, especially when you consider he says a lot of the stuff that we all think in our head and don't necessarily have the cojones to say or to do. You know what I mean? So he does. I mean, I try to be as safe as I can, but hey, it happens. Stuff happens. Go over there, you guys. Let him know that I sent you. If you've not already subscribed to his channel, please subscribe to the channel. Look at some of the work that he has. Also, if you're not already subscribed to the main channel of his, go over there and do it, because I don't recommend folks that are not good folks. He's a good guy. All right. All right, you guys. So we're going to go ahead and pull out of here. Again, my main point to looking at this piece is to see how many times his neck and his head ratchets up before he makes a comment. It's almost as if there's something that's twirling in his head to make him say the things he's saying, like he's recalling which reel he wants to use. He reminds me of a human CD player. Yeah. So I think a lot of the cats that we see aren't the cats we remember. Yeah. Yeah. All right, y'all. I want you guys to remember what we always say on any Felicia Lockhart Group publications, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. I want you guys to take care of yourselves first, obviously. Then I want you to take care of everybody else. And then I want to remind you that when we see each other again, I want you to tell me how blessed you are. That's what I want you guys to do. Going forward, I want everybody to come in telling me how blessed you are. Tell me what happened that day that made you so blessed. That's what I want you guys to do going forward. All right. David Bruce says several years back, YouTube banned his first channel, High Impact Flicks. They sure did. I was following him then as well. And that's when I stopped paying YouTube. Okay. All right. And the Jesus Freak says, oh, was that him? Yes, that channel was great. Yes. And he still does have another one. It's called High Impact something flicks. Let me see. But Grease Monkey is what he does. So let me see if you guys. Oh, and I'm not sure. Does anybody remember the doctor of common sense? Was a black guy. Does anybody remember that? I'm on another side, so put your answer in there. When I come back, um, I will. I will look at it. I'll look at it as soon as I come back over there, and I want to tell you something. Yeah, here he is, right here. Here's this channel right here. He had to change the name of it. Right there. Okay, that's it right there. 567,000 subs. Wow, how that must feel. He is so on point. Okay, he made a video 23 hours ago. Made one here 2 days before then. All right, but he's very active on both pages. Yep, I like his intro music too. Real cool. Somebody mentioned his wife. I would love to see his wife's channel, her work, her body of work. Oh, I don't see it. Okay. All right, you guys. So that's that. But I want you guys to take care of yourselves, take care of everybody else around you. Make sure you do that. And if you guys remember the Doctor of Common Sense, does anybody remember him? Haven't seen the Doctor of Common Sense in years. Did you like him? Did you guys like him? Let me show you something. Let me show you something. He's back. I need you guys to help him. He doesn't even know me, but he was so hilarious years ago. And he was so good. When they took him down, it just broke my heart. Because he was just that guy. He was just that guy. If you go to him, please, please let him know who sent you. Because he needs to know that there are YouTubers out here who remember him from when he was here years ago, 2015, 2016, knocking it down, 2017, until they took him down. So when you go, please let him know who sent you so that he knows that we do support him and what he does. He's back. He's got 1.28 1,000 subscribers. Okay. All right. And look at his views. 167, 400, 250, 259, 510. All right. But he's got a lot of stuff up here. A lot of stuff. Okay, you guys. But he's back. He's back. Yes, absolutely, Jules. His channel name is, let me go back over here. His channel name is now Ask the Doctor of Common Sense. Let me give you the link, you guys. Please go look at one of his videos if you can, something pretty small or whatever. Okay. All right, that's him. Yes, he always has the glasses when he did his video. Yes, from his car. Absolutely, Cheyenne. So yeah, you guys go over there and check him out. And please let him know that I sent you, because I really want to support him and let him know that people do remember him and that people, have missed him. And he's good. So I want to help him get back up past that 1.28 because the cat is bad. He really is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. His videos were a hoot, right? They were just a hoot. They were, Cheyenne. Okay. Yeah. He's still funny. He's still a hoot. All right, you guys. I want you guys to take care of yourselves. And until we see one another again, please do your thing, Mama and Daddy. Continue to be blessed. Okay. All right, you guys. To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. Helping